we got to talk about was probably the biggest news in the NFL, at least today. And that's the day one QB moves in the NFL free agency. Because,
yeah.
guys, there's moves left and right and the center and everything except for the Giants, but everybody else seems to be making moves, no problem. Here's the quick rundown. Dolphins signed Zach Wilson. Patriots signed Josh Dobbs. Browns traded for Kenny Pickett from the Eagles, who got Darian Thomas Robinson in a fifth in return. Jets signed Justin Fields, which that was the big one a lot of Giants fans wanted. That's 2 years, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. To be honest, overpay. And
I actually think it's a good move for them at the end of the day. Like, yes, you overpaid, but that's what you do in free agency. We already talked about this. But
yeah. But $20 million again, and I say this point blank being a guy who wanted Justin Fields to be a Giant. Let me be very clear on that. This is not me backtracking off that. I'm admitting that freely. But I thought you'd get him for like $10, $15 million. I didn't think anybody would pay for a guy that looked really bad in Chicago to go ahead and be a $20 million guy. If what I'm hearing, like guaranteeing and handing him the
50.
starting job.
Yes.
After doing a couple of good games in Pittsburgh. When I say a couple of games, by the way, he was averaging 160 yards passing or something like that per game. You sound like you have the stats in front of you, Rob. Where's the yard?
I don't have the stats from me. I was just saying that he was 4-2 with them, and you said it. He played like Russell. We've talked about him a few times. I'm just saying you got to. What's he? 25? He'll be 26 next year in mid-season. Like you're talking about a guy that's mobile has not had a good offensive line, so he knows how to get mobile around. You pair him back up with his old college mate.
So right? I got to look at starting, but 110.6 yards per game, but that's because 4 of them were off the bench.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, this sometimes. Listen, I hate to say it because I feel like I've got the point where I can't talk trash about other teams anymore. But sometimes the Jets are just the Jets for a reason. So here's his yardage per game: 156, 117, 214, 312. By the way, that's against the Colts, who gave 5 touchdowns to Drew Lock. That just tells you all you need to know there. 131, 145. And again, I said it. He played much better, and I'm not backtracking on that. He played much better, and I would have loved to see him as on the Giants. But to hand the guy the reins to a franchise and give him a $40 million deal, that just seems a little crazy, absolutely crazy.
Jets for you, and they also freed up a whole bunch of money from Aaron Rodgers.
They did well. They will on Wednesday. We'll get to that in a little bit here. Jaguars signed Nick Mullins, formerly of the Vikings. There, Rams re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo. Sam Darnold to the Seahawks in the move that pretty much since the Geno Smith move got announced was pretty much talked about as a foregone conclusion. So Sam Darnold basically got the same exact contract, a 3-year, $100.5 million contract. It was a 0.5, so just over 100. That basically the same contract that when I'm hearing they offered Geno Smith. They offered a Geno Smith. Geno Smith wanted like 40s. They trade him, get a 3rd-round pick, and they still get a quarterback for the same exact amount there. It's Sam Darnold. It's an interesting move, and I got to say, if I am the Seahawks, I'd be very happy with this move because you got a guy who
a lot younger
fit the bill exactly, and is a lot younger than Geno Smith is. Let's be honest. Geno Smith, you've already had enough years. You're not winning jack with Geno Smith, especially at 35. I think he is, or something like that. You got a guy that's a good amount number of years they're younger. So the big news now is who's left because the Giants still need a quarterback, guys. All these signings we're making here, no one's talked about yet the Giants and who they're signing. Well, Aaron Rodgers is the big one. From what I'm hearing here, he's probably going to be a Steeler, guys. Like, there's rumors that it could be a deal done tomorrow. It can't be official till he gets released by the Jets, which won't be till Wednesday for salary cap reasons. But that's the rumors. The Giants are said to be literally waiting on Aaron Rodgers before making any move. That's what I'm hearing on NFL Insiders today. Is that the Giants are? Well, they think that it's a big thing to give Aaron Rodgers the respect to let him have the time to make this decision. No.
Yeah, well, he's had a terrible stint in New York thus far.
Yeah.
Yeah, granted, he did get injured, but
at this point, kissing his butt what got the Jets in trouble?
Yeah, that's what I say. Especially when you're 41 years old, you've been in the NFL. Yes, you're 15 years in the NFL, whatever it is. You've won multiple MVPs. You've been to the Super Bowl multiple times. Like, yeah, we get it, but what have you done for me lately?
Yeah,
it's just nails.
And I'm telling you right now, if he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, could you imagine him and George Pickens together? Oh my God, fireworks left and right with the attitude and dramas, like we drama llama left and right there with that situation. But I just don't like the fact that the Giants are really waiting on him. Now the other guys that we've talked about, ad nauseum here this offseason. Jameis Winston is said to be talking currently to the Niners and the Chargers. Nothing imminent that I'm hearing, but again, that's the guy I know a lot of Giants fans were interested in because for the pure entertainment factor. Let's be honest.
I was all about it last year.
We said it multiple times last year. Yeah. Russell Wilson said to be negotiating with the Titans, who the Titans are apparently very big on getting him as their bridge quarterback, potentially starter for the year, depending on what they do in the draft. Now, a rumored return to the Steelers is not out of question either, depending on what happens with Aaron Rodgers, though, too, for him. And then we, of course, have Kirk Cousins, which is even more of a saga because the Falcons would have to release him or trade him for that to go. And considering where that contract is, it's going to be a release probably. I'm kind of shocked he hasn't been done the service of releasing him yet. I feel like this is one of those moves that if you're the Falcons, you do it for PR purposes. Yeah. Because Kirk Cousins, say what you want about him, he's thought of well amongst players.
The league and fans, yeah.
I'm saying overall players even. They have a lot of respect for him for what he's done. He went from being a 4th-round pick to a 6-figure earner or 9-figure earner, I should say, in the NFL. And a guy that people that were teammates of him will stick up for him left and right. So to me, just cut the man loose. And I'm not even saying it because I want him as a Giant, because to be honest, I don't necessarily want him. I guess there's worse options we could have, like, see everybody we've had the last 6 years. But, like, that's just where we're at this point, is that if he gets cut, he very well could be, because he's going to want to be a starter. And if you look at the starting jobs left right now, there's really 3 starting jobs left. I keep hearing people say 2, but there's 3. The Steelers and the Giants, when everybody's talking about, but the Titans, like we mentioned with Russell Wilson. That's the 3rd one that's really sitting there. I don't know who I want even at this point. Like Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in this list. Let's be very clear about that.
Yes.
But he comes with the baggage. He comes with the fact that
I'm more concerned about his age than anything else. Listen, we talk about it, like the baggage, like you could check that at the door because he's got an ego. He might come in here, just leave all that to the side and try to go out on a high horse. That is what it is. His age and his stint as a Jet, like he just hasn't played that good. And yes, when you went through the stats, it was like 3,500 yards, 3,700 yards, but that was in garbage time.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just not that impressed. Like, the eye test, he just didn't look that good.
And I feel like you got the personality issue. We talked about that, plenty with him as well. Honestly, I feel like the guy that I want is a guy we've talked about before in the show. We talked about him just now a minute ago even. I think Jameis Winston is the guy I want. Like, I feel like he would be the good teammate to whoever we draft. I feel like he would be the guy who would be a leader in that locker room.
He's a reverend, didn't you know? since he went to Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. His personality came out in Cleveland. I never remember seeing that for the Saints or the Buccaneers or anything like that. But I just feel like he's that guy. Now, Russell Wilson, he's probably my number 2 for the same reason. I don't think he'd be a bad teammate overall. I think his experience gives him a lot to teach. But again, these guys are all negotiating with other people, and we're just waiting on Aaron Rodgers according to reports, as if Aaron Rodgers deserves that kind of treatment. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. I don't know. Yeah. We got to go ahead and get somebody. Let's see what you guys think here. We got No Names' typical Browns move. They take Kenny Pickett. He hasn't done jack squats since he's been here. Even as Eagles QB, he wasn't even good. Well, he was a backup for them, so he didn't get that much time. But yeah, and from everything I'm hearing, the Browns are honestly done at the quarterback position. I've heard of that as well, that they're going to go ahead and make some moves in general.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a matter of in their mind they're upgrading, and all they're giving up is a 5th-round pick to do it. On the Eagles' standpoint, they're giving a guy a chance to start that wouldn't have a chance to start where they're at. I hate to say it. Dare I say it's a classy move by the Eagles? It is.
Yeah.
Sad when the Eagles are making classy moves. The Giants are just sitting there floating around. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Mac, the Giants fan, said Darnold had a great year, and he still didn't even get what Jones got a couple years ago. Yes, because I think the problem with it is Jones ended on a high note. If Jones didn't win that playoff game, or the Giants really, because again, team effort. But if the Giants didn't win that playoff game, do you think that Daniel Jones gets that big contract?
It's hard to say because, like, he still would have got something, maybe not as big, but he still would have got paid. They would have brought him back because you went from a team that couldn't have a winning record for the life of his whole career. He couldn't stay healthy. He stayed healthy and got us to the playoffs. So if he sat there and got us to the playoffs, he would have got paid. Would it have been $40 million?
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
like,
it could have been 35.
Yeah. He would have gotten a much lower contract.
I don't know if he would say much lower, but if you sit there and say 35, because that's what he fought for, that's what we thought we should have paid him. And instead we went 40, was $5 million in the NFL.
Well, yeah, but
when you talk about the quarterback, you pay him that, and yeah, I don't know.
I think he's also the cautionary tale. Like people say now, don't pay running backs because of guys that got paid that just didn't pan out. Well, now it's like, don't pay mid-tier quarterbacks because of Daniel Jones. I feel like he's that guy now,
But, I mean, Darnold, it's pretty much got the same.
But he didn't. He got $33 million years later. Like, that's 2 years later. Usually prices go up. So $40 million would be like 43, 44, 45, around there, $1 million now. Yeah. And he got 33. It's a big difference. But yeah, I think people just realize too, he ended the season on a bad note. His last game against the Lions looked bad. The playoff game, he looked bad. And I think that killed his stock, whereas Daniel Jones, again, he ended the season on the high note. He became more of a passer as the season went on. He beat the Vikings at that point, and people thought good of him because of that. Sometimes the best thing you can do when you're a free agent is not play or play well.
Yeah, just like not going to a combine.
But I'm saying, like, look at Justin Fields, for example. Didn't play. People think people want to pay him $40 million now. He ain't worth it.
Yeah.
But he got it because because the hindsight is there. You know what I mean? That's where it's at. No Name says that's all Darnold got, and the Giants should have went and got them. That's cheap. I don't like Darnold.
Yeah.
Yes, we wouldn't have.
It would have been Jones 2.0.
We didn't have Justin Jefferson. We don't have Jordan Addison. We don't have Hawkinson. We don't have the offensive line they have. Like, we don't have KOC calling plays. I'm sorry. We don't have everything he had that helped him succeed. And it's not to fully take it away from him. Like, he did obviously work. But there's plenty of things that he wouldn't have with us that he had with Seattle. That he did have with Minnesota. Seattle, by the way, doesn't have that stuff either.
I was going to say, Seattle is going on a whole fire sale too. So
they're cutting everybody left and right. It's crazy, but somehow they'll figure it out because the Seahawks tend to do that.
Yeah,
they do. Crank 05 08 says, thoughts on trading for Joe Milton from Pats? Looked great when he had the opportunity. He looked great for half a game against the Bills. With that, didn't even care about how the game went. I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to trade for Joe Milton and give up a late round pick for him? Whatever. I'm not gonna, get mad over something like that. But I'm not gonna get excited over him either.
Yeah.
Yeah. No Name says, call Daniel Jones. Never should have got the big contract. They should have said, hey, we're going to give you 3 years, this amount of money, take it or leave it. And he would have took it, and they were idiots. I don't know. Hindsight's 2020, guys.
Listen, the Raiders would have paid him at that point.
Honestly,
he would have got paid.
I could look back at it now and saying the right move was not to pay him, was to pay Saquon Barkley and to tag him. Again, hindsight's 2020.
Listen, that's hindsight.
Exactly. At the time,
it was the right move at the time.
And I know a lot of people talk about it now. Like, I was never. No, people were okay with it then.
A lot of people were okay.
They thought it was a lot of money. They didn't like necessarily the amount he got, but they're okay with how it worked out. So,
yeah.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.